Good morning and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. I come to you with a message of truth, not from the Bible, but from the Quran of the Muslims, backed up by their book, The Reliance of the Traveller, which is a list of their penal codes. So let's have a look at why you can never trust a Muslim via their own laws and why we should be very careful about how we view them in future. I'm your host, Daily Corvid, so let's get started. Now, as many of you know, as part of my popular series Without Lies, Islam Dies, where we go through the Quran verse by verse and reveal the absolute filth and nonsense these guys believe as a religion, I have also been studying Islamic culture and laws and the ways in which they interact with other people as they travel across the world and they are guests in our countries. And I came across a particularly interesting penal code which applies to Muslims. So this means it's a law that transcends country borders. It doesn't apply just in Muslim countries. It is applied to the individual Muslim wherever they are in the world. So what that means is when you meet Muslims here in your country, they are going to be doing this. And if they do not, they are a criminal and other Muslims will come and punish them for it. So the particular rule that I want to bring to your attention is rule number 8. About lying. So I want to head this up by saying everybody knows what a lie is. It's the polar opposite of what a truth is. A lie is something which is patently dishonest, which you will say knowing that it is false. Whereas a truth is something patently true and honest, which you will say knowing that it is true. Not so in the Islamic culture. Rule 8.1, lying. Primary texts from the Quran and the Sunnah state that it is unlawful to lie and are both numerous and intersubstantiative, being among the ugliest sins and the most disgusting of faults. Because of the scholarly consensus of the community that it is prohibited and the unanimity and amount of primary textual evidence, there is little need to cite particular examples, and our only concern here is explaining the exceptions to what is considered to be lying. So, if we break that down, first of all they're saying primary texts of the Quran and the Sunnah state unequivocally that it is unlawful to lie, and they are saying that it is numerous and intersubstantiative in these texts. There's loads of different bits that say this, and they all link together to say lying is the worst of sins, the most ugly sin, the most disgusting of faults. That's what it says. And the scholarly consensus of the community, the ummah, the mosques and such, is that there are little need to cite particular examples of this. So you don't need to go into detail about this. Lying is completely prohibited in Islam. That's what you're supposed to think. And indeed, in debates I've had with Muslims, when I've said, why is it Muslims are so ready to lie to each other, to their wives, to us, in the media, false accusations is a thing they constantly do. Lying to praise up the sins of their religion and cover the sins of their brothers is something they regularly do. Why? Why are they okay with this? Why don't they feel shame and guilt when they do this, like regular moral people do? And I think we have found our answer. Our only concern here is being able to explain the exceptions to what is considered lying. Rule 8.2, permissible lying. Get that? So they split lies into two groups. You have lies over here which you are allowed to tell, permissible lies, and then you have everything else which is just a regular bad lie that makes you a sinful, evil guy. So let's have a look at the detail of what Prophet Muhammad, in the words of Allah, says to Muslims is a permissible lie, i.e. it is a lie which they are permitted to tell. He who settles disagreements about Islam, he who says something commendable about the Prophet, he who says something in favour of war, he who is settling disagreements with other religions, a man who is talking to his wife, an explicit statement that gives permission for a given interest. So let's go through those. I can already tell this is going to be a good one. Because, like I said, when you have debates with Muslims, or indeed in natural, normal discourse during the day, Muslims will constantly lie to you. And I have said this before, and I've been accused, oh, he's racist. How can you say all Muslims are liars? It's racist. Your own penal code says this. So it's not my opinion anymore. It is factually your laws, Muslims, that dictate that you will do this. And if you do not do this, you will be a criminal to your own people. That is how we know Muslims are patently dishonest as a group. If they are not telling permissible lies when commanded to, that makes them a criminal. So it's the opposite of our culture here. In this culture here, a lie is a lie is a lie, and truth is a truth. There's a split down the middle, lies on one side, truth on the other. It's simple. But Allah likes to muddy the waters by saying you can lie if it's permissible. So let's go through some of the examples. Although they said you don't need to go through examples, this is another thing they like to do. Oh, you don't need to go through examples. We don't need to cite examples, says Mohammed. But let's go through some examples so that we can understand how these guys are going to affect us in our lives when they are living amongst us, telling permissible lies, and the reasons why they would do such a thing, and consider it to be a moral duty of theirs. You know, they're a criminal if they don't. He who settles disagreements about the religion. So that means if you have a complaint or a criticism which is fair, based in evidence, of a Muslim and they're doing that thing because of Islam, for instance, if they chop the head off someone, or if they shoot a woman and her daughters with crossbows and kill them, if they stab the eye out of a Orthodox priest because he's giving a sermon, if they do any of these things, you have to deny that they're doing that because of Islam. Even though the person said, I'm doing this in the name of Allah, when they were arrested and punished, you as a Muslim have to, by law, disavow that and say it's nothing to do with Islam. They're not doing that because Allah has commanded them, even though it is true to say that. That is a permissible lie. So, point 1, a permissible lie is lying in order to cover up the sins of the religion of Islam and make sure nobody blames the individual Muslim's actions on Allah and his filthy, evil doctrines. The Quran of the Muslims. That's 1. 2, someone who says something commendable about the Prophet. So, think about it like this. Everybody knows Muhammad was a perverted child abuser. That is documented fact. He had sex with a 6-year-old who was playing with dolls and then married her and impregnated her when she was 9 years old. This means he attacked a child. Sexually attacked a child, which even though it was 1500, 1600 years ago, do not try to tell me that people thought having sex with children was okay back then, because we know for a fact they did not. Nobody ever thought having sex with children was cool or okay in any way. Apart from Prophet Muhammad, he did. So that means if I say Prophet Muhammad was a paedophile and a child rapist and a pervert and a disgusting, filthy criminal, if a Muslim hears this and does not respond with a permissible lie to defend him and say something like, actually no, we know for a fact Aisha was actually 18. If they do not say that, they are committing a criminal offence and the punishment is stoning. So if they do not do that, other Muslims will catch up with them in this country, drag them off behind a bike shed somewhere and throw stones at them. And the count of the stoning shall be 7. That's another bit. We're not going to go through that today, but we'll go through it in future. So 1 is lying to cover the sins of the religion. That's a permissible lie. They will say this is not a lie. They'll say this is the truth when it is a permissible lie in their own law book. Number 2 is defending the Prophet, even though he has indefensibly had sex with a child and then said everyone else should do this. That's a permissible lie. If you don't do that, you'll be stoned. You're a criminal. Number 3, I did not permit him untruth in anything except for 3 things: accounts of war, settling disagreements with infidels, and a man talking things over with his wife. So these are 3 more examples of permissible lies. Let's go to the first one. Settling things and disagreements when it comes to war. Now, Muslims will tell you, oh, this only means when they're being attacked by outsiders. You know, when you go to their country and you attack them in a war, then they're allowed to lie in order to not be defeated in that war. That's what they tell you. But they have to tell you that or they will be stoned because it's a permissible lie. What they're actually saying there, in war, means when they are speaking to someone who is not a Muslim. We know, it says in Al-Baqarah, we read it 2 days ago. Allah says to the Muslim, anyone who does not bow to Allah and worship Allah and believe in his Quran and the Day of Judgment when he kills everybody, those people, by way of doing that, are considered to be at war with Islam. Islam is not a country. Islam is the mass of people who believe in Islam, Muslims. So that means here, you have to permissibly lie to every foreigner in their own country, and it's because you consider that you are at war with them, even though you are lying about it and pretending that you're a friendly flavour Muslim, you're a cultural Muslim, when you are not. And if you do not do this, you are a criminal. So get that. Every single time a Muslim says, no, we're peaceful, our jihad's only defensive, it's definitely not attacking you in your own country in order to destroy your culture, that is a permissible lie. And if they do not do it, they are a criminal. It just gets worse the more you read it. Settling disagreements with infidels. So if you're at work and you're a Muslim, and there's 2 non-Muslims having a disagreement, if you can settle that disagreement, then Allah will look favourably upon you. So you will lie in order to settle it. That is what this says. Solving disagreements between infidels with lies is a permissible lie, i.e. if the opportunity is there for you to do that and you do not take it, you're a criminal. So now think about why would they do that? Why would the Muslim want to make it look to everyone else like he is a good judge? He's a good mediator. He is a fair person. And be so willing to do this that he will lie. Because it gives a false impression that the Muslim is a friendly, trustworthy person who is a good judge of character and event, so that you will turn your back upon them and they can stab you in it. As we know, the jihad says they have to kill you. But the last one's got to be the worst one. A man talking with his wife, smoothing over differences. So that means if you have like 7 wives as a Muslim, even though you're in a country that makes that a criminal offence, you immediately have to lie to say you only have 1 wife, or you will be jailed and thrown out the country. So you're straight away lying every single day to say you've only got 1 wife when you've in fact got 7 wives all living in different houses. But when it comes to talking to your actual wife, you have to lie to her. You have to tell her, I love you, honey, you're the only one for me, despite the fact that you've got 6 other wives and 6 other families in 6 other houses in this country. And God knows who else you've got abroad stashed away. If you do not do this, if you do not lie to your wife in that way, you are a criminal if you're a Muslim. And not only that, if she accuses you of having other wives and being unlawful to her, unfaithful, and she is correct, when you lie to her to tell her that she is making a mistake, by the law of Sharia, you have to punish her with starvation, making her sleep on the floor, ignoring her for a set period of time, or locking her in the house alone and not giving her any food until she starves to death. This is in Al-Nisa. That is Sharia. So this is not only trapping Westerners for the backstabbing move that they're planning in their jihad, they're actually making sure that their own wives don't have a problem with them being unfaithful. And actually marrying the people that they cheat on them with. So that's how they collect wives. They cheat on their wife once, marry that person, now they've got 2 wives. Then they cheat on the second wife, make that person a wife, now they've got 3 wives. Wife number 1 finds out about the other 2 and has a problem with it. It's permissible lying to tell her she is wrong and then punish her to prove that she was wrong. This is Islam truth we're going through now. And I think that's just... it's disgusting. It is disgusting. So I don't think we need to read any more. But I mean, if you are interested, pick up one of these, The Reliance of the Traveller. from any good bookshop or from Amazon, and you will find everything that I've said is 100% true of Islam. It's in this book, which is a list in Islam, Arabic languages and English. So this is something they use that lists all their laws, and it says their laws apply to the person, not to the country. So their law is applied to them here. It overrules our law, meaning they are criminals by our law by doing this. 2. Permissible lying is a method to get you to trust them falsely so that you turn your back on them so they can attack you in the jihad, and in order that they can grow their numbers so that they can surround you, as we saw in a previous video. That's when the stealth jihad turns into an open jihad. When they have sufficient numbers to surround you, then they will spring the open jihad. The method they use is polygamy, having lots of different wives. And in order that they can do this, they lie to all of us and our country because it's illegal here. They even lie to their own families and wives. And this is permissible lying. Make no mistake, if they do not do these things, Allah will punish them as a criminal, and other Muslims will stone them, give them the lashes, and finally behead them as an honor killing. So in summary, just keep that in mind when you are debating Muslims, if you want to waste your time debating these guys as if there's any fruit to be gained by this. But more importantly, when you are speaking to Muslims in your life, next door neighbours, friends, co-workers, and they are claiming to come to you in a friendly, kindly spirit, in a spirit of love, even if they mean it personally, you cannot trust them now because of the way Allah has enacted their own penal system, their physical laws that they have to do or they will be a criminal in their own culture. Means they have to have criminal behaviours against us here in our country in order that they don't become criminals in their country. And that is the reason why, and I mean this when I say it, due to their own laws and their observance of Quranic morality, which is filth and disgusting, nobody can ever trust any Muslim apart from another Arab Muslim. That is a fact. It's a hard fact. Some people are going to be offended by this, but like I say, if you don't believe me, buy it and read it yourself. And it is heavily supported by the Quran writings we are going through in the series Without Lies, Islam Dies. So in summary, it's very important that you pick this up. Whether you like it or not doesn't matter. This is for your own safety and your own good. Never turn your back on a Muslim. Never trust any Muslim. And the reason is because, as we went through, their own law dictates that it is permissible for them to lie to you, consider that you are at war with them, and that this is a moral obligation of Allah's commandments, which if they do not do, they will be heavily and severely punished and considered to be in apostasy, which means not Muslim. So please keep that in mind, and you will have a much better time as a result. So, hope you enjoyed that and you learned something. That's the end of this video. God bless you all, and I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye now. And I think we can see now how the mysterious ways in which Muslims speak to us and behave all becomes very clear once you know the ins and outs of their actual law and their Quranic morality, the filth. So anyway, that's all for now. God bless you all. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.